Hello friends, welcome to my channel LahariLectures. In this video, you can watch notes on deadlock prevention. To prevent deadlock, any one of the above four conditions should be denied. This is because if at least one condition is not satisfied, then deadlock will not occur. First one, denying mutual exclusion. Mutual exclusion occurs only for non-shareable resource. For example, printer is non-shareable resource, that is, it cannot be simultaneously shared by more than one process. To prevent mutual exclusion, we make the resource shareable than deadlock. Never occurs as the resource can be shared by many processes. Example, read-only files are the best examples for shareable resource. But if we make the resource shareable like printer, then we get erroneous output. In general, it is not possible to prevent deadlock by denying mutual exclusion condition, since some resource should be compulsorily non-shareable. Second one, denying hold and wait. It is possible to prevent hold and wait. There are two techniques for this. Every process should request all the resources that it requires for the entire execution before starting the execution only. Example, suppose a process requires 4 resources for the entire execution, then request all the resources before starting the execution. If all the 4 resources are free, then start the execution by acquiring all the resources. If at least one resource is not free, do not start the execution. This protocol has two disadvantages. First one, resource utilization poor, since the resources which are required at the end of the execution are also acquired at the beginning only. These resources are kept idle for most part of the execution, that is, these resources, the resources which are required at the end of an execution are not used by the process for long time, nor they are given to the other processes. Second one, starvation is possible. A process that needs several resources may have to wait indefinitely even if at least one resource is allocated to some other process. Thus, the process may not start execution at all. To overcome these two disadvantages, another protocol is developed. Here, any process can request for new resources only if it has none. For example, a process is having 4 resources. Now, it requires 2 more resources. Then the process should release 4 resources before requesting for 2 new resources. If 2 resources are free, they are allocated to the process. If they are not free, process waits without holding any resources. Thus, holding and wait is prevented. Third one, preventing non-preemption. To prevent non-preemption, we use the following technique. A process P1 is having 4 resources. Now it requests for 2 more resources. Now operating system checks whether these 2 resources are free or not. If they are free, they are given to P1. If they are not free, then operating system checks whether these 2 resources are tied up with which process. Let us assume they are tied up with P2 process. Now operating system check whether a process P2 is a sleeping or ready process. If it is sleeping process, then operating system takes the 2 resources forcefully from process P2 and allocates them to P1. Now P1 uses all the 6 resources and complete its task. Suppose P2 is a ready process, then OS cannot take the resource forcefully. In such a case, P1 sleep. While P1 is sleeping, other process can preempt the resources of P1 since P1 is sleeping. Fourth one, preventing circular wait. To prevent circular wait, we impose ordering of all resource types, that is, we assign a unique integer number for each resource. This allows us to compare 2 resources and determine whether one precedes another in the ordering. The technique is each process can request for new resources in increasing order of assigned number. Initially, a process can request any number of resources. Let us assume the process has acquired resource Ri. After this process can request for now resource Rj if and only if Frj greater than Fri, where Frj and Fri are the assigned numbers for the resources Rj and Ri. If f of Rj is less than f of Ri, then the process must release Ri and request for Rj after acquiring Rj. Now the process can request for Ri. If this technique used, circular wait cannot hold. Proof. Let us assume circular weight holes even if this technique is used. Let us assume there are 4 processes P0, P1, P2, P3, P0 holes RO, R0 and request for R1 and P1 holes R1 and request for R2. P2 holds R2 and request for R3. P3 holds R3 and request for R4. The technique says that requesting resource number should be greater than the holding resource number. F of R1 is greater than F of R0. F of R2 is greater than F of R1. F of R3 is greater than F of R2. F of R0 is greater than F of R3. Therefore, f of R0 greater than f of R3 greater than f of R2 greater than f of R1 greater than f of R0. F of R0 greater than f of R0, which is false. Therefore, our assumption is wrong, that is circular weight does not hold good. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.